All right, here it is, Children of the Corn 10, Runaway. I have been waiting for this movie since I reviewed all 9 of the others on here recently. And John Gallagher directed this, and I was a little, interested at least because he did it. And, I'm a completist and a sadist and a masochist and yeah. So midnight, I went over to Redbox and I picked this up because I wanted to get it done as soon as possible. And as I said, when Gallagher was involved, I was like, okay, like they got a cool director. He did the Feast trilogy, which I'm a big fan of the Feast trilogy. And then I looked at the writer and I got real worried because let's just talk about this writer for a second. Let me just read off the titles that this guy has written. Children of the Corn Genesis, which is a total piece of shit. Pulse 2 and 3, Hollow Man 2, The Prophecy 3, 4, and 5, Hellraiser Hellworld, which is the only Hellraiser that I fucking despise. The Dracula movies, Dracula 2000, Dracula 2, and Dracula 3, that whole trilogy. Mimic 2, which isn't bad, and Highlander Endgame. This is the guy you call if you want a shitty sequel written. Hey man, hey, are you free for like 60 fucking seconds to write a movie? God. Anyway, let's get into this movie itself. Now, this movie is about a woman who has a young child. He's about a 13-year-old boy. And they are, down on their luck, and she's homeless and jobless, and she's trying to take care of her kid. They get to this town. She goes and tries to get a job at this mechanic shop. She's trying to enroll him in school. She's having problems with the townspeople. They don't like her. It's a God-fearing town and whatnot. And she, there's this little girl that's in town and she's showing up everywhere and she's killing people. And we don't know exactly how she's connected to it, but we know that she is in some way and you can figure it out in like 5 seconds. This movie is boring as fuck. And you can tell this script was not a Children of the Corn script. And if it was, wow. Like, when you write a script that, unless it's like a direct sequel to something, which this one didn't need to be at this point. There's 10 films. A lot of them have no continuity with each other. They can do whatever the fuck they want. When you write a script, you can write whatever you want. You can write dialogue and people can say whatever they want. And scenes can play out however you want them to. It's fictional. You can just have fun and go fucking crazy and do things that are interesting. And that's not what this guy decided to write. This movie is so boring. It's crazy boring. And it sucks too because I feel like the lead actress is actually giving it her all and gives a fairly fine performance. And the director, it's okay. Like the movie's okay-ish, but I think what it really comes down to is that this is a Children of the Corn movie. So I'm going into this with some expectations, not of quality, but of horror and thrilling scenes. Like it's supposed to be a horror thriller, something. And while there is some horror in it by that little girl, it's so seldom. And you can tell everything Children of the Cornish is like shoehorned in just to call it a Children of the Corn movie. Like, I like the concept of certain aspects within the film. Like, oh, okay, like she's a runaway. All right, I get. And as I said, there's no spoilers here. Like, I'm sorry if you can't figure out what's going on in like 3 seconds. Maybe I don't know. Maybe you need to write the next one. Oh, God. So yeah, I really don't have a lot to say about this movie. I wouldn't recommend it, clearly. It's not terrible, but it's just yet another subpar entry into this overbloated series. And I wish that they could have just made a couple good ones instead of a ton of not good ones, and two that I found to be very enjoyable. This is a shame. This is a shame because I really like the director. You know, there's some films that he's done that I love. And to see this is disheartening. Clu Gulager, the dad from Nightmare on Elm Street 2 and plenty of other movies, but that's my favorite movie he's ever been in. He is the father of the director here, which I didn't know until tonight. And when I saw him, I was like, oh, I bet they're related. And he's his dad. Why he's in this? Because his son's directing the movie. That's why. Because his role in this, he has no role in this, okay? He's a guy at the bar who's angry. Wow, what a role. You know, thanks, son. Thanks for revitalizing my career. Or thanks, Dad. Thanks for showing up for 5 seconds, taking the shittiest fucking role you could find in the script. What? Although he's like 100 in this movie, so it's probably the only lines he could remember. That was mean, but probably true. Yeah, it's forgettable, you know. So skip this one. Skip most of them. Watch 3 and 4. One's fine too, but the rest can all go. What a shame. I was actually like kind of looking forward to this, and here we go. So, yeah, I'm just going to scratch my lip with my teeth now. It's probably the most enjoyment I've had in the last hour and a fucking half. All right, guys.